Hi folks, welcome to Applying the Sword. I'm Micah Pilcher. Since its inception, Americans have linked Christianity with patriotism. It's arguable that no nation since Israel has been more politically linked with the God of the Bible, at least in rhetoric, than has the United States. As a child, I definitely caught the spirit and strongly adopted the association between Christ and country. I believed that America was a Christian nation, and the politicians that appealed to this association by their words secured my devotion. And by proxy, I adopted their party, their platform, their rhetoric, and their talking points. Have you noticed the problem yet? Somewhere along the way, I found myself passionately, you might say religiously, promoting principles and policies that, if nothing else, weren't exactly biblical orthodoxy. They weren't evil policies, mind you, but they were, at best, man-made policies. But I had attached to them an undue significance. I had subconsciously blurred the lines between God and principle, policy and party platform, so that I couldn't tell where one began and the other left off. I even found myself deliberately turning a blind eye to issues that I couldn't well defend because I felt I needed to take one for the team. It was a trap, whereby to get what I wanted, I had to give somebody else what they wanted, whether it was in line with my first love or not. Such is politics. And I know I'm not alone in this. The undue worship of country begins with subtle changes of thought. In many cases, it comes in the form of forgetting God's warning when he said, "Woe to them that call good evil, and evil good." Now ask yourself, can America do wrong? Has America done wrong? Is America doing wrong? The phrase American exceptionalism is kind of like the phrase total depravity. Everybody says they believe in it, but everybody thinks it means something else. By some definition, I still believe in American exceptionalism. I think America has a very special place in history due to our founding fathers' unique experiment with freedom, a Bible-centered culture, and a Protestant work ethic. The fact that we have more inventions, more wealth, more churches, more universities, more science, more art, and more influence than any other country in history is proof of a special blessing from our God and speaks to the incredible character of our people. That being said, our worship of America has often led us to downplay our national sins, and we have several. America's experiment with e pluribus unum has not always been successful. America's history with slavery, the abuse of our natives, and our long-standing flirtation with imperialism have left many people justly hurt, and tensions persist. I realize that many of these problems and tensions are exaggerated or aggravated by many on the political left, but they are not fiction. Sadly, they are the dirt on our national hands. Most Christians don't support these tensions, of course, but the worship of America has often led us to marginalize the outcries of those whose races have been harassed. I don't believe in legal reparations of any kind or of any social justice actions by our government, but I think that when we as red-blooded, American-loving, gun-toting Christian conservatives lambast black, native, and Mexican people and tell them to get over it, we heighten tensions instead of relieving them. I am well aware of the fact that the social engineers in this country are very guilty of race baiting, America hating, and history distortion, but combating this does not in any way require a swing to the opposite extreme. Of course, I do not recommend any socialist or government-based solutions. I just recommend that an understanding of a loving Christian community will go a long way and will make the attempts of the social engineers futile. We don't need to go alt-right, we just need to do right by Jesus, who said, "Love your neighbor as yourself." Unfortunately, the damage done by America worship, or at least Republican worship, is more vast than this. We can also point to other disasters that had, and still has, the fervent backing of many evangelicals. Things like No Child Left Behind, the Patriot Act, the War on Terror, the War on Drugs, our expansionist foreign policy, the militarization of the police, and other such agendas. Even our defense of marriage, while well-intended, still look to the government to fix the problem instead of attacking it where it truly began, in the human heart. And now that we have decided to wage that war in the courts, that issue has been decided by the courts. Now, I realize that some of the things I have just condemned are welded to the conscience of the American Christian voter. But ask yourself, if your ire has risen over my questioning of these policies, if you instantly form a label to slap on my opinion instead of questioning your own ideas, then I simply request you to ask yourself some piercing questions. Are these policies of God or men? Can they be supported by the Bible? Are there other, better ways? Are the benefits of these policies lavished on God, on the American people, or on the elite who crafted said policies? Also, are the policies constitutional? It does us no good to hold Barack Obama to one standard and Donald Trump or George W. Bush or Ronald Reagan to another standard. But bear in mind, this blog is meant to be less about debating policy and more about the object of our worship and the source of our hope. Let us examine ourselves and ask the Lord to show us where we have gone wrong.